Spirit has guided my life right from the start, even though I didn't always realize it. To be clear, when I talk about spirit, I mean the universal force that's behind all creation. You can also call it God, the universe, the creator, the force, or any other term that makes sense to you. Being guided by spirit doesn't make me special. We all have that privilege. Like me, you may not realize it, but this guidance is available to you at all times. It comes in the form of spirit guides who act as the universe's ambassadors. In this book, I'll teach you how to connect and communicate with these guides so they can help you create a better future for yourself, for others, and for the world at large. But first, let me back up and tell you how I started detecting the influence of spirit guides in my own life. Then I want to recount how this changed me forever and how your guides can do the same for you. I grew up in a non-religious household with two parents who embraced science over any kind of spiritual belief. This meant that I didn't have much exposure to knowledge that could have explained what happened in my mid-20s and altered the course of my life. At the time, I was living in Germany and clueless about my direction in life. I knew that I felt a calling deep down in my heart, but I didn't realize what it meant or what to do about it. I felt stuck, depressed, and often wondered if something was wrong with me. I even considered checking myself into a psychiatric hospital because I perceived myself as broken and was looking for a way to fix myself. Looking back, I understand that this was the start of my journey to becoming a spirit guide medium. I was about to learn how to deliver messages to those who hadn't yet learnt to communicate with the cosmic helpers themselves. About 1 month after my 26th birthday, I woke up at around 4 a.m. to find a man I'd never seen before standing in the doorway of my bedroom. He was wearing jeans, but no shirt, shoes, or socks. His hair was short and black, his skin was brown, and he looked as though he was of indigenous South American ancestry, just like me. I stared at him, and he stared back. Then, from out of nowhere, he produced a glowing red orb the size of a baseball that hovered above his upturned and outstretched right hand. It looked like a tiny version of the sun at dusk, right before it disappears below the horizon. He threw it over to me, and I still remember the impact it made as it landed on the bed right next to me. Next thing I knew, I was opening my eyes the next morning and wondering what had just happened. 2 days later, I boarded a train to attend a shamanism workshop in Berlin that I'd signed up for weeks before. It had been organized by the Foundation for Shamanic Studies, founded by Michael Harner, an anthropologist who had influenced the rise of neo-shamanism, a westernized form of various traditional shamanic traditions. I'd just started becoming interested in my Colombian roots and wanted to learn more about the spiritual traditions of my indigenous ancestors. On that 5-hour train ride to Berlin, I told my friend Bianca, who was accompanying me, what had happened 2 nights before, and we wondered what it all meant. The next morning, after arriving at the event location, we were eager to get started. Our teacher, Paul Akusik, a seasoned shamanic practitioner of over 30 years, had everyone sit in a big circle and introduce themselves. Then he told us we were about to learn how to connect with our spirit guides by going on a trip to the spirit world. After explaining how to do this, he told us that when we met our guide for the very first time, they would often transfer energy to us to help raise our vibration. This would either be by giving us a loving hug or, sometimes, by handing us a glowing red orb. I gasped and nudged my friend, who looked at me with eyes wide. We'd both realized that the man who had showed up in my bedroom 2 days earlier was one of my spirit guides. I don't remember much of the rest of the workshop other than I felt that I'd entered a new world that had been hidden from me before. Intuitively, I sensed that a door had been opened and that I was to embark on a journey that would have a big impact on my life. At the end of the workshop, many of the participants were ready to dive deeper into the subject through follow-up courses on healing, soul retrieval, and other shamanic practices.